Y'all ready to move to a new spot? Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? It is Cam here, Easy Work Acres, and today we're going to be moving our chicken coop. So this is our movable chicken tractor for our egg layers, and I figured this is a perfect day to kind of show you the moving process of this thing, and then maybe give you just like a look through of the chicken tractor itself, so you can kind of see how our little operation works with our movable chicken tractor. So let's get into it. It's really funny. So like right now they're all like up under the tractor and everything in the shade. As soon as they hear my old red truck start up and I start driving over, they all swarm to the fence because they get so excited about being moved to a new area. What I tell you, they get so excited about being moved. Time to move to a new spot or what? Act like you're excited about something. It's the first order of business, getting the barn house beauty to pull stakes up while we take the fence down and everything. And then we're going to hook the truck up and get this thing moved over to the new spot. So typically we don't move the chickens too very far from the spot that they're currently at, but we're actually going to be taking them across our driveway over here and out into our front field. So it's a little bit further distance than what we normally do. So hopefully they won't give us too much trouble getting them all to follow us over there with the coop. They're not hungry, they don't care. Of course, the one time that we record us moving the chickens, they're gonna be jerks. Normally they follow the freaking chicken tractor, no problem. And of course today they're gonna battle us. So this should be fun. Oh yeah, pull it, pull it. This is our feed can. We're just pulling it over there. All right, so while the chickens are out exploring, doing whatever the heck they want, we're gonna give them time to work their way over here on their own because they'll come, but they're not trying to come right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of go through the chicken tractor. I like calling it an egg mobile, but I guess whatever. People call it chicken tractor, egg mobiles. But this is for our laying hens specifically. So I'm gonna run through what we have set up to make it a little bit easier on us on a day-to-day basis. So first off, I have this homemade gravity feeder. So it's just like the ones you would buy in stores. I think I found the dimensions of one online or something and then just kind of replicated it with some old metal and some 2x4s and 1x and stuff, and basically pour the feed in. It hits a slope at the bottom and then feeds it out towards the front of the feeder, and then we're able to fill this thing up with 100 to 150 pounds of feed at once, and then we don't have to constantly be out here coming out with the feeder all the time. And they seem to not go through it too awful quick unless we have a bunch of roosters, which we have before, and big roosters eat a lot of food. So you don't want more than 2 or 3 at most, unless you want to be spending a whole lot of time out here feeding roosters. All right, so now on the back side of the coop, the way we used to do it, and I'm actually about to make a conversion, is there's some screws that come out here and this door opens up, and then there's like multiple nesting boxes in here with the face opened up to the inside, and we just open the back up when we wanted eggs. But the problem is they just got dirty. We constantly had to keep refilling it with straw and everything, and if they kicked the straw out, then the eggs would crack and break, and then there's yolk on everything. It was just a disaster. We got tired of dealing with it. So about a month or two ago, I decided to make a rollaway nesting box. So I converted this to that, and I'll have a video actually building this rollaway nesting box, so be watching out for that video coming out soon. But essentially now all I have to do is open up this lid, and the chickens, you can see some in here right now, they'll be in there laying, and then they roll right back to that basket back there. And I made it to where this can adjust. So since this is a movable tractor, I might not always be on level ground, so I'm able to adjust that and raise it to change the slope so that the eggs don't roll too fast and crack or break or anything like that. And then if anybody does happen to poop in their nesting box, it'll fall through to the ground instead of it staying in there or anything like that. And they're not so comfortable of nesting boxes that anybody likes to sleep in there, so we don't have to worry about that too much. Next thing, we got our watering system. So I got two 5-gallon drums. I built a railing around it You could probably guess why, because I dumped these off of the front of the tractor at one point, and we needed to make sure that those didn't fall off again. So all it is it is fed from that gutter that is coming from the roof right there. It fills this bucket up and this bucket up because they're connected. I just have this piece of metal here to keep chickens from going back there and trying to lay eggs back there. But they're connected, it fills up with water, and then it feeds out to one of these like self-watering little float fillers that you put in. And I just basically dangle the bucket here because, again, whether I'm on level ground or I'm on a hill, this bucket will hang however it needs to off of this peg right here, and then will stay level so that I don't have the issue of the water like overflowing off of the top of the bucket and then wasting all the water that we collected with rain. So that's why it seems like, well, that's kind of rickety, but actually this is more simple than what I actually used to have. I used to have like an actual built-in bucket and stuff, but then as soon as I was on unlevel ground, it poured over. So this being loose like this allows this to move no matter what kind of ground I'm on, and it doesn't pour out. Actually, the whole outside of the coop is just this metal and then just like wood and stuff like that across the bottom. And I made this all just, we have a crap ton of tobacco sticks, so I figured make use of them. And then that allows some good ventilation, and then we just tarp that wall in the wintertime to block off any wind. But inside the coop here, you'll be able to see kind of like what the old nesting boxes looked like. And I have those covered up because there's actually a bird's nest in there, and we wanted those baby chicks to be able to finish out without the chickens bothering them. And I boarded those up to train them to their new roll-away nesting boxes, which I put a curtain up and stuff for them, and dividers and all kinds of stuff. That took a little trial and error, and that's why I waited to do a video on building that, because I wanted to try and work out the kinks before posting a video and save people some time. But we got multiple roosting poles in here, one big one across there, multiple down this side, and we have a little over 100 chickens, and they all fit in here just fine. And then you'll see we have a bunch of like 1 by 2 inch mesh on the floor, so that when they poop in here in the nighttime and they're sleeping on these roosting poles, it drops straight through the ground, and then we're getting fresh manure on whatever area that we have them pulled over, which is perfect for us using this to prep the garden in the future. And these PVC pipes, I'm actually going to be taking these out of here because what they were for was to block off the nesting boxes at nighttime, which again was just another chore we got tired of doing. So now that that's blocked off, I'm going to go ahead and get those out of here. And like I said, they just poop and it falls right through the ground, and then everything stays fertilized. But that also means that I'm not in there having to scrape out a coop all the time, trying to clean out the floor, dusting, sweeping, and everything else. And it's easy for us to go in there, hit everything with some DE to help with leg mites and stuff like that. And that's the extent of what we have to do for like keeping the coop clean. Now, if there ever is any major buildup, I can come out here with a pressure washer and spray it, and that's pretty quick and easy. But overall, for the most part, it stayed fairly clean with very, very minimal cleaning by having the floor open and having venting like that. Now, one downside of having vented floor like we have inside here is that during the winter time, this isn't the warmest coop on earth. And obviously, I just said I don't like having to clean this thing out. So something we're going to try, and thank you for commenting because people gave us this idea in the comments, is to put hay bales around the base of the coop during the winter time so that it's blocking any draft blowing up from the bottom, and then this coop can still work exactly how it is. And then we won't have to worry about moving them back and forth between the greenhouse and here during the wintertime, and maybe we can use the greenhouse for other things throughout the wintertime instead. But that's our plan, so we'll get to that in the wintertime when it comes around and let you know how that works with this type of coop build. All right, so after they did most of their fooling around, most of them did come back to the chicken tractor. So now we're gonna get the fence up and get these chickens, stuck to a certain area. So we have our fence back up. This is a Premier One electric poultry netting. And essentially, it normally has electric charge to it. Right now, our charger is messed up or something. It's not giving it any current. But we are real close to our house, So our dogs are within the area, and that keeps the predators away, at least while they're close, until we can get ourselves another charger to get this thing going. But essentially, the fence is done really well. One downside is that you do, like, you know, if you can look out there, the grass is taller out there. And if the grass is pretty tall, you do need to mow down some before you move it to the area, which isn't really a big deal. It takes like 5 minutes to mow an area real quick to where we're gonna put it. But if the grass is tall enough, it will ground your fence enough that it doesn't give a good charge or a good shock when something touches it. But the netting is to keep predators out. Yes, it helps keep the chickens in, but honestly, they could loft over the fence if they want to. And every now and then we have one that does, but they always go back over. But essentially it's to keep the predators out, any ground predators and stuff like that. We haven't really had any hawk problems since our very first year, which we had a horrible hawk problem our first year. But I kind of figured that solution out in order to close the coop up. I have a drape that I hang in this open doorway when we're not walking in and out, we're not moving. We got some stuff we want to do, but I hang a curtain in that doorway, and that blocks all but like maybe the bottom foot of the doorway, and that keeps the hawks from flying in. And we haven't had an issue since we started doing that. I actually did a video talking about predator proofing this coop, if you want to check that one out as well. But I think that's pretty much it. You know, wanted to show you the coop, wanted to kind of show you what it was like moving, and actually moving it usually goes way smoother than that, because we don't typically move them very far distances. I'd say we probably moved them about 100 yards from that original spot to here. So a lot of ground to cover between here and there, and they were excited to be out free roaming through the tall grass over there. But typically we move them like just outside the next fence length over, and it's very easy to move them. It takes us maybe like 20 minutes to take the fence down, pull it, put the fence back up, and they're good to go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And if you would like to keep seeing stuff like this, please like and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to keep sharing our content with you guys. Thanks for watching.